Welcome to Crossroads and Cauldrons. We are two witches with jobs, families, and busy lives just like you. We talk about weaving the web of community, practicing magic, and life in the Deep South.
Hey everybody, welcome to the show. I'm Luna.
And I'm Sellena.
And welcome to Crossroads and Cauldrons.
Yay.
How's it going, girl?
Ooh, so good.
So good?
Yes, because now, by the time this show comes out, it is fall time. And I'm starting to see, like, even when we're recording, the spider lilies have bloomed.
Yeah.
Hello, spider lilies.
Yay, spider
They are
lilies.
my favorite. Those giant spiders that, like, there's one right there. If you can... Look, if you just look, just
Yeah, I
picture
see it.
out that build
big old
spider
garden
webs
spiders.
across the like the orb weavers.
Yeah.
Massive spider webs everywhere. I'm starting to see little leaves falling here and there.
Yeah.
I'm super excited about fall time,
me too.
and this is going to be my break time.
Yeah, that's why she's excited.
I'm excited because we will. By the time the show comes out, it'll be over. But at the point of recording, I've got like a big Samhain thing. And that's it.
That's it.
That's it.
Which is why she's so happy.
Which is why I'm so happy. This is going to be like a little break for me. I'm not putting together a Yule ritual. Somebody else is doing that. What am I going to do?
All that time, girl.
I'm going to take mystery school applications and stuff like that. But I'm also going to spend some time with my kids. I'm going to eat a lot of food. Oh, I'm going on a small trip. My husband has a work trip every year, so I'm just going to tag along and hang out in a hotel room. Maybe that's when I'll do all my applications and stuff.
There you go. Where y'all going this year?
Same. It's in Las Vegas, so.
Vegas.
Not really my scene.
Yeah?
But,
Did he at least take you to a show while you're there?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to go to a show, because it's also my birthday weekend.
Okay. Hey.
Send presents. I will not turn them away. I'm always asking for stuff, but they don't send it, so that's fine. But anyway, yeah, so we're going to do dinner. We're going to do a show. It's going to be my birthday. But I don't get to see my kids on my birthday, which sucks. So they're going to have to, like, give me birthday love before I leave.
Oh, I'm sure that they'll do a little Zoom or something.
You'd think so. We'll see what happens. But yeah, it's going to be a good time. And I'm just going to chill out on, you know, the hotel balcony and drink coffee. And,
Okay.
ooh, maybe I'll bring, like, some knitting. Maybe I'll do a knitting project while I'm there. I don't think they would...
Can you hear the gears turning?
I know. I don't know how to sit still, so I just won't. I feel like I'll do a lot of that when I'm very old.
Well, I can't say anything. I've been working on my crochet Christmas gifts already. I've been working on them since June.
You don't sit still.
I don't.
I like you. Hey, I need for you to make me a pointy hat.
A pointy hat?
Yes.
Do you want a witch's hat?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Okay, because I've been like, I need to make one. It's never going to happen. Can you make me one?
Yeah, I'll make
Can
you
make
one.
Okay.
I actually came across some really cool ones here lately.
There's a lot of really good... Okay, so I don't know if you're familiar. There is a Etsy shop, and I think she may sell through other means too. Okay, but it's called Morale Fibers. Not Moral Fibers, Morale Fibers. To get it? It's like a play on words. It's good. She's a crocheter, and she... creates all kinds of crochet patterns, and they're beautiful. So you remember that coat I had that's got like the rainbow in the back, and then all the yeah. So that was what was one of her patterns.
Oh, cool!
I gotta make another one because that one I made when it was a bigger time for me, and I need to
make it smaller.
Yeah, but I don't know how to make it smaller because it's all crocheted and like the sleeves are. I'd have to.
I bet if you write her or contact her, she'll tell you how to reduce it.
No, the pattern comes in smaller sizes. But how do I shrink the one I made?
Oh.
Because it was all hand spun yarn.
Oh.
I guess I'm just going to have to frog it and reclaim all that yarn. That sounds like a whole project.
I've done that, though. I've taken projects that I finished that are like, I'm never using this.
I'm not using it. Let me reclaim that yarn.
Or the person I made it for made me mad.
You know, so few people are actually knit worthy. So
yeah. Crochet worthy.
Or crochet worthy. Craft worthy. You spend so much time.
You really do.
Making something. And then they're like, okay.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I'm going to just take that back.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's mine now. Hello.
Yeah, if I make you something, I put my energy and my time into that and my love. And I was thinking of you when I made it. If you don't like it, back. You can give it back.
Please give it back.
I will take it.
Yeah.
Yeah. If anybody makes something for you, you be nice.
You wear it every time you see
it. Even
them.
if you don't wear it. No, even if you don't use it, you still be nice because they put time and energy into that.
Have you had people say mean things to you? Ooh,
no, I've never had anybody say mean things to me, but I have. No. Sorry. No, but I have kind of gotten, oh, thanks.
Bullshit. Take it back.
Yeah, no. I did. I ended up taking it back.
I've spent months creating, like, because I do a lot of lace knitting and like making beautiful lacy shawls, which I enjoy because I like, but you know, I spin the yarn and I make the thing and then I never see them wear it and I'm kind of like, you know, if you don't want that,
I'll take it back.
Happily take it back. It's not going to hurt my feelings.
Right.
I'd rather have it. But yeah, if somebody knits you something, every time you see them and the season is right, fucking wear it. I don't care if you like just bring it in the car, put it on for them, and then take it off later. And they want to see it. They want to see you wear it. If you're like, it's too beautiful, I can't. And give it back to them then. If it's too beautiful. I did it again, I snapped. I gotta stop. I gotta stop snapping in the microphone. But anyway. So yeah, I've got a few things that I should have started on also in June or July. Yeah. Okay, so I've been making a sweater for like 2 years. I'm gonna finish it.
She started in
It's
COVID.
probably not good. I started. It was my COVID sweater. Because I had not. I don't know. I was. Okay, so I was kind of insecure about knitting. I had knitted baby sweaters and baby clothes and socks and you know, I've done like shaped apparel, but I had not made an adult size sweater, and it was just kind of like I made lots of shawls, lots of, you know, flat pieces of fabric. But I was feeling insecure. Like, I don't think I could make a sweat. I know, stop it. Anyway, I was feeling insecure about it. And so I was like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to make myself a little cardigan. And then I started, and I was like, what the hell? Why did I do this to myself for so long? Because I just felt insecure about it. But, and then it's just very slow going. So I work on it when I have time.
Yeah, which is never.
I heard it.
Yeah.
Which is almost never. But it's coming along. I've got the top all the way to like here. So I've just got to do the bottom and the sleeves.
Oh, that's
and then the collar.
I bet if you sit down
and then the buttons. And then I'm done.
I bet if you sit down and work on it, it'll go like that.
I could do it probably in a week if I had just a week to work on it. I need to just start working on it when the kids are watching TV in the evenings. Just be like, oh, but they're going to be, by the time this is out, they're already out of school. They're going to be out of school. Our school time is different. We homeschool, so we go to school from like March to September. And then they have, October through February free. So all of our holidays, we're not having to deal with school.
That's cool.
Most of the dance year and dance competition season, they're not having to deal with school. And they're doing their schoolwork during the hot-ass summer when they can't really go outside anyway because it's too hot.
It's too hot.
And they get to play in the spring and the fall outside.
That's sweet. I like that idea.
Yeah, so I'm not going to have kids' school. I'm not going to have mystery school classes going, except for the 2 that I'm taking. But that's only once a month. Oh. For each class.
Okay.
But anyway, so I should have some time. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
If I don't book up my time, I'm gonna put it in my planner, knitting.
There you go.
And then it'll be too late.
You have to block that time out for yourself.
You literally do.
You really do.
I'm serious, because it'll just fill up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and get my 2023 calendar and be like knitting week. Just put them in there. Sorry, I can't do it that week because I'm knitting.
See, she's far braver than me. I homeschooled my kids too, but I waited until they were in high school, so I only had to do it for like 3 years.
Oh shit! Well,
and then I sent them off to get their GED, and then when they went to college, they both graduated college. I mean, everything was cool, but
a lot of times homeschoolers are. Colleges are more inclined to accept homeschoolers because they usually have a stronger education because they have one-on-one teacher, their whole time. But I'm so glad that we were able to do that. That was like when I met my husband, I was like, so here's what's up. I want kids. I want to homeschool them. If that's not in the realm of what you can give me in the next 5 years, I'm going to need you to move along because this is not a game. I really did that. Bless him. And he was like, all right, let's do it. Okay. And then we did it. Anyway. That's not what I meant, but that is what I meant.
Uh-huh.
So anyway, kids are great, but I have been so blessed that that we were able to do it, you know, and there were some lean times, you know.
Yeah.
But we got through it. You know, there were several years where I was working nights, you know, and we were just, I was schooling during the day, working at night. God bless. I don't know how I survived, but I did, and here we are. And I'm really glad that I got to spend their childhood with them, you know, and I couldn't send them off to school. I'd be like missing them all the time. I'd just drive up there and be like, I'm gonna just check them out early every day. Yeah, no. If we want to go do something, we just load up and go.
Yeah.
If we want to go to a museum, we just hop in the car. Let's go. We're gonna go have a picnic. Let's do it. You know, they get this whole childhood situation, which is great. So I love it. I love it. Plus the schools in our area. A, the education is super lacking. 2, I'd be up there constantly showing my ass. They'd kick us out because I mean, my niece and nephew lived with us for a little while, and some of the stories they would come back with, it's like, oh fuck no, you're not gonna pick on these little pagan babies. So yeah, I'd be I'd be in jail. If I wasn't homeschooling, probably. Anyway, we've gotten off topic. What have I done?
Did. It's
I'm
okay.
so sorry.
It's
Went on
okay.
a tangent. That happens.
Yeah.
What are we talking about? Stuff that's going on. What do you got going on? You getting ready for holidays?
I'm getting ready for the holidays. Yep.
Got some Thanksgiving plans, probably. Food. Lots of food.
Lots of food. Lots of food. And now I can just make it and let everybody else eat it because I can't take but maybe more than a bite or two. But that's okay. I'm fine with it.
You shouldn't have to cook it if you can't eat it.
I like to cook, though.
Oh, well, then go ahead, girl.
Yeah. But I only like to cook in the fall and the winter.
So, yeah, I get that.
I only like to cook in the fall and the winter. The rest of the year is just too freaking hot.
It's hot. It's hot. My husband is like a grill master.
Yes, he is. Man can cook.
Heavens.
Oh, my Lord.
Yes, I lucked out on that one.
You did.
So he likes to cook just randomly in the summer especially. And I like to do lots of, like, soups and chilies
That's me.
and stuff
I like
in the fall.
Yeah, I like the fall and winter stuff. I'm ready to make a gumbo and...
Yeah, it's chili season.
It's getting close to... I'm so excited. I'm ready for the seasons to change.
Me
this is my time of year.
It's been super damn ass hot this year. Like, more so than usual. Shocking.
Yeah.
Though that may be. But yeah, I'm really, really ready for fall. My plants have been fucked up this year, too, because we didn't get a good cold winter last year.
Yeah.
So all my bulbs were like, I'm going to just stay here. I'm going to stay down. No need to.
They didn't do anything.
My irises did okay. But my daylilies were just like, nah.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna dig them all up, I think, and stick them in the freezer.
Well, I'm fixing to
stick
do
them in the fridge.
I'm fixing to do some rearranging in my gardens because about the time this one airs, I'll be getting my new front porch.
New front porch.
Excited.
It hadn't been long since you got your new back porch, has it?
Yeah.
I guess it has.
It's been a
like
while.
Ignore me. Carry on. New front porch, huh?
It was before COVID.
We were talking about your new front porch for a while.
And then the lumber prices decided to go through the ceiling.
So, but you'll be getting it.
But I'm getting it
before the holidays.
Yeah. Because the lumber prices are supposed to go down just enough.
Oh, yeah. You're going to have to rip up most of your garden in the front there.
Yeah, I got a lot of rearranging to do. You want to come help me?
If you want to take a look around, we might have to tag team both of our
I'll
areas,
come help you. You come help me, and
I'm waiting for. At this juncture, it's gone so long that I'm just kind of waiting for the weeds to die. I'm just gonna pull up the roots. I mean, look, it's so bad. It's so bad right now. But yeah, it's just been too hot. It's been too hot. In the spring, I got this whole bed to there done, and I unearthed that path, which is starting to get weedy again. And then the iris bed, and then it got so fucking hot you couldn't come outside. So I've got to get this and all of that have to be done in the next few weeks, and that has to be done.
And some of you at home are probably going,
over
what is that she's talking about? Well, we're outside on her porch, and so we can see her garden. And those of you who garden, you know how bad it can get in the summers, especially if you live in the South like we do. And between, like, February to late May, early June is when you get to play in the yard, and then after that it's too fucking hot to do anything. And you're just like live or die and walk away.
Right? Yeah. It's all you now.
Yeah, it's all you.
Oh my God. My poor hanging baskets this year.
So I have a lot of empty baskets with dead plants in them.
I've got a whole bunch of dead. Well, some of them are dead. Some of them are semi-dead. Mostly dead.
Yeah.
I got to hang them somewhere else because they weren't getting enough sun. And then when they did, it was so hot. They were just like.
So if you have any tips for us, we would love some plant suggestions that don't fry in the shade in the summer here in the South.
Oh, you know.
Because some of them do.
They do.
Even in the shade. It's just, But anyway.
They need light, but not the heat. I think that was the problem but some of the days were like 115
I know.
degrees.
If they'd had the light, they really would have fried.
If they had the light, but not the heat.
Yeah.
So, how do you do that?
I don't know.
I don't either.
I don't think you can.
I don't think you can either.
No.
I'm going to put different plants, I think, in my hanging baskets for next year.
Okay.
That just like the shade, and I'll just keep them up.
There you go.
Because they hang more under the porch.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Yeah.
We're talking about plants. What are we here for?
We're driving them crazy. We actually have a topic, so we're going to jump to the topic.
Okay, let's do that.
We're sorry. We got a little off topic.
We're not sorry.
Yeah.
This is our show.
That's true. That's true. Okay, so we're back to the gifts of the goddess.
Oh, yeah.
And we're going to talk about how to bring success into success in love. I can't talk today.
Success in love.
Success in love.
Yes, I have had great success in love. How about you?
I've had pretty good success.
Win some, you lose some. I mean, yeah.
Well, you know, I was married for 21 years and then got divorced.
Yeah, I only did that for 3 years, and then I was like,
I got married again. I've been married for 11 years now. So.
Yay. And, we're going on 16.
Ooh, look at you.
We're all grown up now. Yay, good times. All right, what you got for us?
All right, well, we could have tackled this for a few different directions, but I wanted to start by talking about some signs of a healthy relationship.
Good idea.
Because not everybody knows what that is.
Ooh, right? I did not for a long time.
Yeah. So let's just start with 7. 7's a pretty good number. We can work with that.
How interesting that you chose 7 because, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
The zodiac sign that goes along with this gift is Libra, which is ruled by Venus, whose number is 7.
Oh,
did you know that?
No,
you
I didn't know that.
You knew, but you didn't know you knew.
I didn't know that.
How about that? Anyway, carry on.
That's cool. Okay.
We've been talking about some Libra energy. So all you Libras out there, how you doing?
How you doing?
Yeah.
All right.
They're like, I'm good.
Oh my God. Okay. So one of the first signs of a healthy relationship is adaptability.
Ooh, yes.
Okay. Because we all, even if you're in a decent relationship, say you just started dating or you've been together for a little while, either way it works. And circumstances change. I mean, COVID is a really good circumstance. Example, a lot of us didn't get to work during that time. Some of us had money issues. Some of us had health issues. You had medical. I mean, you can just run on down the line. If any of us learned anything during that time, it was how to adapt.
Well, I mean,
and how to live during the circumstances that we had.
If you're getting into a relationship with someone and you expect them to always be fixed in that whatever moment it was when you first fell in love.
Yeah. It doesn't last long.
You're fucking up because they're going to change and they're going to evolve, and so are you.
Right.
And so the relationship has to be flexible.
And life phases. I mean, we go through different phases. You have newlyweds, then you have kids maybe. You know, you have careers,
Yeah,
you have jobs, you have house, you know, then they grow up, the kids move out and go off and do their own thing, and then you're left together. That's what happened in my first marriage.
You can have medical issues too. Like, you never know. You never know.
You just never know
what's going to happen.
Yeah, but if you can adapt together and learn to work with the circumstances you're dealt at the time, then that works out. So that's one. The second one is that you communicate well and you're honest with each other.
Boom. Communication. Yeah. And that's such a Libra thing, too. Like, Libra's an air sign. So, facilitating communication between parties is the primary thing if you want success in love. You got to be a good communicator.
Yeah.
You know, you can't just be like, oh, I want... And this is my voice of people who just, I don't know. I want this perfect partner, so I'm going to do a spell to get this partner. And it's like, yeah, but what are you offering?
Right.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
And okay, I'm going to get some feedback from this, which I will ignore. So often, I see and hear people bitching that they cannot find the partner that does everything that they want or that meets all of their criteria. And they got nothing to offer that partner. You know what I mean? Like, you want somebody who's wealthy and successful and driven and creative and emotional, in touch with their emotions, and a good communicator and supportive and knows how to cook and whatever else. That's a high quality partner. So you gotta, they're looking for a high quality partner too. What are you bringing?
Right.
You know? You can't just be thinking about what your own needs are. You're going to have to bring something to the table if you're going to capture that sort of partner.
Right.
Because they don't have time. But they're only focused on their own wants. They're not thinking about the relationship.
Right.
How are we going to interact? They're not thinking, what am I bringing to this partnership?
Right.
And that's a fucking problem.
It is.
I don't hear you whining if you're not working on yourself and bringing your game up, bringing what you have to offer up.
That's a good point.
Then don't talk to me about what you want in a relationship. Sorry.
And then if you're in a relationship already, you do what are called emotional check-ins.
Oh, yeah.
For
sure.
I mean, we check in at least once or twice a week with each other. You know, you doing okay? How are you emotionally? How are you mentally? How's it going at work? You know, if there's something going on, we know, let the other person vent and don't take it personally.
We were talking about communication, weren't we? And I just veered off.
You're fine. I hit a nerve.
Well, I think it's important to look at how different people communicate too.
Yeah.
You've got to learn sort of the language that your partner speaks, and if you're willing to communicate in that way, you know, and you've got to know how you communicate and what things mean to you when you hear them. You have to communicate that to your partner.
Right.
We had a lot of can I get into some? Okay. So my personal background carries a lot of relationship trauma. And ooh, Lord bless my husband, when we first started dating, I was a mess. And through, childhood traumas, through traumas in my first, early relationships, I had learned to communicate in such a way that worked in those relationships. There were like survival things that you do in those relationships, and those things do not work in a healthy relationship. And, especially if you're coming from trauma, you sort of learn to... You're constantly reading your partner. You're constantly looking for signs of stress in your partner. You're constantly looking for, anything that might trigger something. And when you carry that into a healthy relationship, it's not healthy. And you may not recognize that. So, like, learning not to read things into my current partner that had a particular meaning with my past partner took years and years of, because I would be like, are you mad? Are you okay? What's going on? And he's like, no, I'm fine. And then, of course, I'm like, oh, shit, he's lying. So you have to sort of learn how to communicate with your partner. And especially if you've had trauma in the past, you need to communicate to your partner, okay, this is what I perceive when this is said, or when you do this particular thing. Am I right in that, or am I wrong in that? Okay. And you've got to sort of establish your language for that relationship. Like, your connection, their connection, the way you both communicate, those are separate things.
Right.
The relationship is going to be the mixing of your two energies, your two communication styles. And that's going to be something that's separate from both of you. You have to develop that common language with each other. Right. And that takes work. That takes actively checking in, actively doing the thing.
Yep. Yeah. Which kind of leads us to our third one, which is you have to trust each other.
Fuck.
And that means across the board. I mean, you're not worried about them running off and cheating on you or telling lies to you. You feel safe. You feel comfortable with them. You know that they have your best interest at heart. And there's no abuse there mentally or psychologically or physically.
And you have to be trustworthy.
Yes, you have to be trustworthy. It's equal. It's back and forth.
Trust is hard. Trusting yourself is hard. And recognizing your insecurities is hard. But you can't project your insecurities on your partner. You're going to drive them away. Yeah. And they should leave if you're doing that kind of shit.
Absolutely.
Like, there's no place in a healthy relationship for jealousy at all. And if they're giving you reason, then you need to move along. Like, that's my personal opinion.
All right. So 4 would be you can be yourself. You know that you have their love and approval, but your self-esteem does not depend solely on them.
That's a big thing.
It's a big thing.
Oh my gosh. I know a lot of people whose self-esteem relies completely on their partner, whoever they may be. Yeah. And it changes with the partner. Yeah. That's not good. It's not good for you to put that on them.
That's toxic. Yeah.
It's extreme. It's abusive on your part for you to do that to them.
Absolutely.
But
and vice versa. Yeah.
And it hurts you. You know, to rely on your partner for your self-esteem.
And you need to have interest outside of the relationship as well. You have to have your own friends, your own hobbies, your own interests. You can go see family when you want to if they don't want to go, or you just want to go talk to your mom. I mean, and not have to worry about them getting upset over it type deal. So
yes.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah, they should... Yeah, if you should both be individual people. That can be a real problem. Like, that's a sign of codependency when you have to be always involved in everything your partner does. That's not healthy. Like, it's good to want to do things and to share interests with your partner, of course, but you should have interests outside of your partner. And surely you do, because you're not the same person. Right. But, and that partner should not give you grief about wanting to do the thing. Like, my husband is not a witch at all. He does. He knows from what I tell him. You know, he's gleaned a lot. We can have a conversation, but this is not his world. Yeah. And can you imagine him like being like, "What time are you getting back from the Sabbath?"
Oh God.
When I get back, why are you messaging me? No, yeah, that's not gonna work out. No. But you should also. That kind of goes back to what do you bring to the table too. Yeah. Both of you should be complete whole people. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, individually. Yeah. Yep, agreed. All right, so what was my last one? You can be yourself.
Being yourself.
Okay, so curiosity. You're willing to talk about changes in the relationship if aspects become less fulfilling.
She talking about sex,
problems. Not always. Not always.
But also.
But that you truly care about them, but you're not looking at them they're not idealizing your partner. That's what I'm trying to say.
Oh,
so you see them for what they are. Curiosity is. So you got flexible mindsets about each other. Well,
I think that you should be open to exploring things together
certainly.
Too.
Yeah.
I'm talking about sex. Or whatever.
Let's talk about sex.
You should want to explore life with your partner. You should be like, this is the new thing I'm interested in. Right. Like, that keeps the relationship interesting.
Oh, absolutely.
Keeps your life interesting. Keeps the bedroom interesting.
It does. It does. And you need time apart.
Ooh, girl.
Take your own personal time for relaxing, reading, doing things that you enjoy doing. You don't have to be attached to the hip from the time you get home. So that's another one. And you have to have fun together. You have to know how to play. You have to know how to laugh
together. Yeah.
Even in the hard times. I mean, when it's tough, you got to be able to find the funny.
I like that.
Find the funny.
I'm going to get a t-shirt that says that. No, but you're right. That's, if you're not experiencing joy together in your relationship, and there's, like you said, there's ebb and flow.
Yeah.
So there's going to be times where it's just...
It's really hard to find the funny
for a while. But you got to be able to lean into each other and
absolutely
find some joy in the experiencing of things together. For sure.
For sure. And then the physical intimacy. And it does not always refer to sex.
Damn it.
Not everyone likes sex. Not everyone is into sex. Well, there are some people who don't, but intimacy can be things like kissing and hugging and cuddling. This is true. I'm right there with you.
But yes,
it's physically connecting.
Touch,
having that bonding with your partner.
Hugs, good hugs.
Good hugs. Good hugs. Not that walk away or
church hugs. No church hugs in this house.
Church hugs.
No.
And teamwork. You have to have each other's back.
Okay, now that's a big deal for me. That is a big deal for me because I'm difficult to work with. I don't know if you know this. Bless your soul. She's... Okay. Because I have high expectations. True. I have high expectations of myself, but I tend to deliver on my expectations. I hope. If I'm not, somebody needs to bust my ass. But it's hard for me to work with people who don't deliver. Yeah, I get. If you're going to tell me you're going to do something, I need you to do it, or tell me that you're not going to do it, so that I can
find somebody who can.
So that kind of stuff irritates the fuck out of me. Or just general incompetence. I don't do well with that. I'm working on that because everybody has different levels of, So that's my personal fucking problem. Thanks to my perfectionist mother. You're welcome. But yeah, I struggle with that. So I can be difficult to work with. I work well with people who are smart, quick, capable, and have sort of a wide range of skill sets because I can be like, hey, can you do that? And I know they're going to do the thing. So that's really difficult for me in a intimate relationship because I need to rely on my partner. Like if I tell you, okay, this thing needs to be done, and you're like, I'm going to take care of it, I need to know that it's going to be taken care of. I don't need to come around and then it's not done and then I'm pissed. Yeah. So I am difficult to live with.
My issue is when I ask for something to be done and it's not done right then.
Oh, well, now
that's something I'm having to work on.
You got to work on your scheduling.
It'll get done eventually, just not on my timeline. So right. Now, I really have to work on that.
My husband would tell you I have a problem with that, but he would be wrong because I can say, okay, this thing needs to be done in the next 3 months before, it's hurricane season and our gutters need to be cleaned out. I feel like that's reasonable.
That's very reasonable.
See, okay. But then if it's not, then I'm unreasonable. But it doesn't have to be immediately right now. But we need to have a communication. I need to know that I can rely on my partner. And that's one of the biggest things that sold me on my honey when we first started dating. Because my ex-husband was absolutely fucking useless. And so if he hears this, it's true. Anyway, couldn't do nothing. Anyway, it's like having a child around. Anyway, but my current husband, when we met, we were doing current. Yeah, okay. For now. Better stay on top of it.
Be on it, bud.
No, he is stuck. He's my prisoner now.
Okay.
But yeah, when we first met, we met through doing theater, and I was working a show, and he was doing like production stuff on the show, and so our first meeting and getting to know each other, we were building sets together and things like that. And I was a lot harder to work with in my youth. So I was much, much more like, it's got to be done. It's got to be done right. It's got to be done right now. I've evolved a bit. I leave grace for people. Girl, don't come at me. I leave room for people to fuck around, But anyway, at that time I did not. And he was just like right there on top of it. And he was paying attention to my needs. If it was like, okay, we're building this thing. He comes, he's got everything we need to do that. All right, next thing. Because that's very fast. Like, that's a fast-paced environment. It's generally a pretty toxic environment. But he was right there. And I was like, I can work with you. I can trust you. You can tell me you're going to do something and it's going to be done. It's going to be perfect because you're going to put a lot of thought and care into what. That tells me you care about what you do. Look at this couch. He built me this. And I said, I want a couch. And he said, okay. And he built it and it's perfect. And I love it. And he did it in a reasonable time frame. So, yes. Yeah. You should be able to work with your partner because you're going to have to work with them. Yeah. You're going to have to buy a house with them. You're going to have to raise a family with them, perhaps. You're going to have to raise fur babies with them. Right. For sure. You know? Absolutely. You got to be able to work with your partner. Otherwise, what the hell are you doing? You got to be able
to count on them. You know, to be there if you're sick or...
Oh, my gosh.
And vice versa, I mean.
Yes, he does forget to feed me when I've had surgery. So he's not a nursemaid. I have to bring in people for that.
You have to bring in people for that.
But... Yeah, but otherwise, we're good. He's not a nurturer. He gets sick if I'm sick, so then I end up taking care of him. We're going to work on that. We're going to work on that. We're adapting.
You can work on it, yeah.
I just bring in my friends to...
I got you.
You're one of the people.
I'll feed you. It's all right.
Thank you. All that food you can't eat, but you can cook.
I can cook it. I'll bring it.
There you go.
And the last one is, you're fine, is conflict resolution. Disagreements, frustration, anger are normal in a relationship. But if you can't come to a resolution over something, you complain about one thing over and over and over again, and they say they'll fix it, and they never do. That's an issue, or you can't come to a compromise.
Conflict resolution is a big thing.
That's a big one.
That's a whole set of skills you have to develop.
That's your team member. That's the teamwork part again.
Well, and the communication.
You have to work together. Yeah. Yeah, it throws a lot of that all into the same mix there.
And you've got to recognize your own feelings. When you're in a conflict, you have to ask yourself, like, what is my role in this conflict? What am I not seeing in myself?
Right.
Because that's your person.
Yeah.
You know, that's your partner that you love. So you've got to give them the benefit of the doubt to listen.
Yeah.
They could be wrong, but you got to listen.
Yeah.
Or you'll never know.
I agree.
So that's a tough one, conflict resolution. Yeah, I think that goes back to communication. If you're developing those communication skills early on, you're rarely going to have big times of where you can't resolve, you know, where you can't have a conversation through that.
And that's where we go to red flags.
Ooh, yay.
Yeah.
So let's talk about those other those 7 that we did before we talk about the red flags.
Okay.
Can we do that?
Yeah.
Just in relation to witchcraft.
Okay.
Because this particular power of the goddess to bring success and love, a lot, I almost said all, and I think it is all, but a lot of the work that we do as witches, as initiates, developing your powers, developing your skills, you're working on learning how to communicate within yourself.
Right.
You're doing a lot of introspection work. You're learning to communicate with your own inner worlds. You're learning to evaluate. So all of those skills that you learn as an initiate come in handy with all of the things that you just talked about.
Absolutely.
And learning to communicate with spirit, learning to communicate with deity. These are entities that have a completely different language, different moral, code, I guess, than humans. And you're learning, when you learn to navigate those areas of communication, you're not going to have trouble communicating with a human. Because you're open to different ways of communicating.
Right.
You're open to expressing yourself in different ways to find, to sort of feel into that flow, feel into when you're making a connection. And all of that comes up in everything that you just mentioned.
Right.
And I think it's important too, as witches, as you're starting to explore all the things there are to learn about yourself and your connection to the greater scheme of things, you feel energy and you feel connection and you feel flow, and you can feel when people are right for you, when people are balancing your energy, or when people are just siphoning off of you, or when you're just siphoning off of them. Don't be doing that shit. Stop it. You know, like, you can start to recognize those patterns as you develop your witchcraft practice.
Right.
And that helps you. I mean, that's all of the work that we do to build ourselves, to build our relationship with ourselves, comes in, and it helps bring, to bring success and love. That's the gift. Right. And you can see it in other people too. Like, you can see where connections and energies are coming together. So much of our work is in bringing things together. And I think that kind of goes back to our Libra energy as well, because, and this is something that I don't necessarily know that a lot of people think about when they're in a relationship. You've got your person number one. Yeah. Right. You've got your person number 2 or 3 or however many options you have. But the coming together creates something else. There's this person and that person and maybe more, but the relationship itself is an entity. It's a consciousness. It is. It's a thought form. Right. There's an egregore that goes along with your relationship. Just like there's an egregore for different witchcraft traditions. There's an egregore for different businesses. Like, there is a spirit that's created that's a combination of person 1, person 2, person 3, however many people are involved. Right. And that thing is not any of you. And it's all of you. And it's different, and that's what has to be nurtured. Like, that's what you're feeding, and that's what you're drawing from. You're not drawing from that other person. Right. You're all feeding this relationship, and that's what you have to protect, and that's what you have to nurture, because together you are something different than either of you are individually apart. Right. And that's a lot of that Libra energy, is sort of balancing, 1 + 1 = 1, right? So, yeah. So you've got to you can lean into all the things you learn as an initiate, all the things you learn in your healing practices and your meditative practices and your relationship with deity. And all of these things, too, building relationships, having success in love, all of those skills, the sort of, I say mundane, but you know what I mean. Yeah. Skills apply to your witchcraft practice. Yeah. When you're building relationship with deity, same thing. When you're building relationship with spirit allies, same thing. You've got to be able to communicate. You have to be able to know your boundaries. You have to be able to know what you're fucking bringing to the table. Right. And what your expectations are. And everybody has to agree on that, or you're going to have to part ways. Right. So it plays into all of your witchcraft practice as well. That's all. That's cool. I just want to go on a little rant for a minute. No,
that's fine.
Ooh, let's talk about love spells later. Okay. But not right now.
Not right this second.
Okay. You were going to talk about red flags.
I am.
Let's do it.
Well, we talked about the good things. Okay, things that make the signs of a good relationship. I've seen a lot of people in really bad relationships too, and so I thought, well, if we're going to talk about the good things, let's talk about the red flags too, because sometimes they're not always apparent.
No, and sometimes people are being deliberately predatory too. So you're putting in and you're being honest and you're coming from a place of honesty, right? And they're not. Exactly. Or maybe you're the asshole and you're being predatory and you don't even know it because you're all wrapped up in your own ego. Sorry.
No, it's fine.
But it's true.
It's true.
You can be the problem too.
That's it.
But what do you got? Red flags.
Well, the first one is one of you tries to control or change the other.
Why? But don't do that. But I mean, really.
No, don't do that.
Don't go into a relationship trying to change
But people. Don't allow them to do that to you either.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. I mean, if they do something that really bothers you and you can't accept it, it's time to move on.
Well, or have a conversation. But if it keeps, like you said, if it keeps happening,
creeping up,
and they're like, I'm going to change this thing, and then they don't, like, you got to read the actions, because they never intended to, if that's the case.
Right. And a lot of times, when someone is trying to change their partner, criticism comes into play a lot of times, and they will criticize everything.
Well, that can go straight away.
It can. But, yeah. So just kind of keep an eye out for that one. The next one is your partner doesn't respect your boundaries.
Ooh. Oh, boundaries, man. Boundaries. And you've got to know your boundaries. Mm-hmm. And you've got to set your boundaries. Mm-hmm. And if people breach your boundaries, I'm going to stop talking.
So give an example of boundaries.
Fucking hell. Okay, so this is a journey that I'm exploring. Boundaries. Mm-hmm. I grew up with very unhealthy boundaries taught to me. And I did not know what healthy boundaries were. I did not know what healthy physical boundaries were. I did not know what healthy relationship boundaries were at all. I had no concept of, my space. So I'm gonna tell you what a very wonderful friend and high priestess told to me about a way to think about boundaries in your mind. So think about your self, your space. There was a bee. I got distracted. As a house. There are people that you would not tell them your address. Okay.
Gotcha.
There are people that you would let them in the driveway, but you're not going to let them on the porch. Right. Okay. You're all thinking of people in your mind. Yeah. There are people that you would let come sit on the porch, but you're not going to invite them inside. There are people that can come inside and they're welcome to come to the living room and have a seat, but that's it. You're not gonna give them the tour, right? There are people that you're comfortable standing in the kitchen with. Right. Okay. There's people that you are comfortable inviting into your bedroom. And then there's your bestie that can walk into your bathroom while you're taking a bath and use the toilet. And but those are your kind of levels of boundaries. Like, where would this person come? And that includes that's not your physical house. This is your mental house. You know, how far am I going to let this person in? Do I trust this person enough to come into my bathroom when I'm taking a bath? Right. No, I do not. Do I trust this person on the other side of the fence across the street? Then that's a person that, you don't want to mess with. There's something wrong there. I need to get that person out of my life. But sort of knowing, having that physical idea, because it was like, oh yeah, I can definitely feel when I want to meet somebody on the porch and I don't invite them in. Oh yeah. But we don't often do that with ourselves. We don't often say, okay, no, or this is, I don't like it when you say this, and we're not going to communicate like that. Yeah. Or you're not going to put me down. We're not going to do that. Whatever your boundaries are, you have to know them. You have to know what feels like a violation, what feels like my watch just made a noise. Squirrel. What feels like someone has crossed something that is yours. It's your sacred space. Right. Okay, watch, you got to go. Sorry. But think about your circle when you create a sacred space. People just can't just walk in and out. You know, in certain circumstances and certain traditions, you only let people who come into that space in perfect love and perfect trust. So, you sort of have to think about that. And you've got to look at people's actions. If somebody breaches a boundary and they didn't know it was a boundary, and you say, hey, okay, this is a boundary for me, and they respect your boundary, excellent. Good deal. If they continue to push or tell you that you're stupid for that being a boundary or whatever, bye. Later. They got to go. Yep. And you really have to be aware of, okay, am I continuing to let this person cross a boundary with me and I'm not saying anything? Right. Then you have to maintain that boundary. You have to say something, and you have to protect your boundaries. Right. Yeah. So if you've got somebody that's constantly breaching your boundaries or just picking away at them or trying to sidestep your boundaries, that's a red flag. That is a huge red flag. Yep. Yes.
So the next one, that's good. So the next one is you don't spend much time together anyway. And I mean, I hate the word quality time. I hate that definition.
Hate hands.
It was there.
They're very important.
It was there. It wasn't coming here.
It's okay. It's okay. That happens.
I hate that definition of quality time.
Yeah. Why?
I just do.
Okay.
Because when you're in a relationship with someone and you're putting that much energy, that much trust, that much love into that relationship, and you have to make quality time. Like, you're busy, you're so busy that you literally have to put off something else.
No, go. You keep going.
I know where I'm going with this.
Okay.
I know where I'm going with this. Okay. You don't have to block out time on your calendar to spend time with your husband. You just naturally do.
Sure.
Okay.
Because they live in my house.
Well, yes, exactly. And the same thing with your kids. So
you should want to spend some time.
You should want to spend time with that person. If you're physically not spending time with that person, there's something wrong there. If you don't want to be in the presence of the person that you're with, that's a red flag.
That would be a red flag for me.
Yeah.
Too, if you just don't even want to be around them.
Right.
Yeah. That's weird.
Yeah.
Why are you doing this?
But there are people who are in relationships like that.
And they just
that's why it's a red flag. They're more housemates or roommates than they are relationship.
That's so sad.
I've seen marriages do that.
Look, my marriage does that sometimes. We're busy. But whenever he's around, I'm happy and I'm excited that he's there. And I want more time with him. But we just don't always get it. Yeah. But we just kind of naturally fall into in the evening. That's why we don't get any sleep, because the only time we have together is to talk after the kids go to bed.
Yeah.
And so it's like 1 o'clock and we're like, look, we got to sleep, but we got to have that time.
But you make that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you make that time.
That time is late. It's too late.
Right.
But you're right.
Yeah.
But I think that is, I see what you're saying. You're saying like any time should be quality time.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you don't have to block out a special date for your partner to count as quality time.
Right. You should have that time every day. And
yeah, when he's around, it increases the quality of the space no matter what. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Even when he's being ornery.
Yeah, that's true too.
We're kind of fighty. We don't like fight, but we just like to be competitive with each other.
Well, that's okay. I think that's healthy.
I'm not going to tell you how the story ends. But you know what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying. Okay. All right. Another red flag is when the relationship feels unequal.
Ooh, yeah, that's a problem. And you got to ask yourself, is that your feelings?
As to why, yeah.
Or, you...
Like, it's understandable. Things are going to happen.
Imbalance.
Someone gets hurt. Someone gets sick. You're going to end up doing majority of the house cleaning. You know what I'm saying?
And then you're going to need that at some point in the
future. Or someone loses their job and the other one has to pick up the slack, because of their job or figure it out.
Or one person works more hours so the other person picks up the household. But that's the thing. But if one person is doing everything, that's a fucking problem.
That's a red flag.
Yeah.
That's a red flag.
Yeah. You should have an equal balance of contributing to the family and the relationship and relaxing. Like, if one of you has time to relax all the time, and you just working all the time, that one needs to get up and help.
Yeah.
And then you can relax together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Feelings about this particular.
I do too. But that's what I'm saying. So that's a red flag.
That is a red flag.
And then
that's a problem anyway.
That's a problem in itself. Yeah, that needs work.
Yes.
So then they say negative or hurtful things about you or others. Now, this works twofold. So, if they're constantly criticizing you about personal choices or your food you're eating, clothing, TV shows you like, things like that, it can make you feel ashamed and low on yourself.
That's ridiculous. Like, why are you here if you don't like anything about me?
Exactly.
You hurt my feelings with that one.
But it also goes the other way. If they're using hate speech or slurs or making derogatory remarks about other people, what does that say about them?
Yeah, and if you're right there with them, then I need both of y'all to do some introspective work.
Right.
Because that's not
right.
Not good.
No. So that's a red flag.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah.
That's a sign of a sort of a hateful person inside.
You don't feel heard in the relationship. If you've told them or explained to them something hurts you, they don't pay attention to that and they continue to do it. Or you really need to talk to your partner. There's something seriously going on and you're just like, I'm struggling with this. and they just ignore it and go on their happy merry way, yeah, that's
a problem.
Big red flag.
I know in my first marriage, I did not feel seen or heard. Like, it's like he had an idea of who I was, and I was not that person.
Yeah.
And I felt like a ghost. Like, I'm here, but nobody knows me in my own house. That can be really difficult. Really difficult. That can put you in a dark place.
Yeah. I felt ignored in my first marriage. If I had
good riddance.
If I had things going on, and I had a lot of medical issues at that time, and his idea was to ignore it. If he ignored it long enough, it would just simply resolve itself or go away, and I ended up going away. Because you stopped talking about it?
Yeah. Yep. You did go away.
I did go away.
Good. I'm glad.
It took me 21 years, but I did go away. That was the hardest thing I ever did.
And aren't you glad?
I am, but I still mourn for that, too. You know, just because the relationship's over doesn't mean that you don't miss some aspects of it. You know,
I get that.
I have a great life. I'm not complaining about anything.
Well, and you're a water sign, so it's going to be like that.
And my children were the best things to come out of that first marriage.
Oh,
so
yeah, you needed those babies.
I don't have any problem with that either. But yeah, there's certain aspects early on in the marriage, things that we did together. Sure, I miss that. You know?
Yeah, I don't miss much from mine.
You weren't married long.
I wasn't, because I saw where it was going.
You saw where it was, yeah.
I had a coworker who had stayed, and she was like in her 50s, and he was exactly like my ex, and it never changed. And and all my hopes of, this is going to get better. No, I was just like, I ain't wasting my life here. So
yeah,
but we had been together for 6 years though. So
yeah, it's still tough. It's tough to walk away.
It was hard to walk away, but I was ready.
Yeah, I was ready too.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, okay, so you don't feel heard in the relationship. You're afraid of expressing disagreement with that person.
Yeah, that's a huge problem.
Yeah.
That's a very huge problem.
Yeah.
And you got to see if it's you don't like conflict. You got to do that first.
Yeah.
But if it's not you.
Yeah. If you're scared to talk to your partner.
I'm afraid.
You're having a conflict with them and you're afraid to tell them how you feel about it, that's a red flag.
That's a big one.
Yeah. Because there's a reason you feel afraid.
Yeah.
And that's what the red flag is.
And if they can't, what are they going to do?
Yeah.
Like, no, that's a big problem.
Yeah.
Run.
So that segues into this one is you don't feel happy or comfortable around your partner. That's a big red flag.
Yeah. If you feel on edge and nervous and not just like relaxed to be yourself, what are you doing?
Right.
And
then disagreements or discussions don't go anywhere. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and it may be like that.
And if you can't resolve it.
It may be like that for you for a while.
So that's just a few red flags. I in my research there were hundreds. It's just like the same thing with the opposite. Signs of a great relationship. There were hundreds. You know, so I just whittled them down, just a handful on each end. You know,
and you got to know what you're willing to deal with.
Yeah.
And what you want. You know, just because you're willing to put up with it. Is it helping you grow as a person? Are you evolving? Especially, I get a lot of conversation about, because I work with practitioners generally.
Right.
And the partner's usually not. And it comes down to, are they supportive of your practice?
Right.
You know, and that looks different for different people. Like, my husband supports my practice by staying out of my business, which is great. If I need something, he's like, get what you need.
Yeah.
You know, he's very understanding.
Yeah.
But, you know, sometimes supporting your practice looks different. You know, if they're a different religion than you and you're expecting them to support you in a particular way, are you supporting them in a particular way?
Right.
You know, it works both ways. So, yeah, that can be a real fictitious situation if you have different religions and one or the other.
Right.
You know, and they're sort of antithetical to each other. That it might be time to do some relationship diagnostics. You know, see what's going on there, because it probably is that one of you is just keeping your mouth shut to appease the other one, and that's not good.
No,
that's not good. Yeah. That's some good stuff. I wish I had I wish I had known a lot of those when I was a youngster.
Me too.
Back in my young days. My youth.
The boundaries thing for me.
Boundaries. What are boundaries?
Big. Yeah.
It's a mystery. It's a mystery. You have to learn them. You have to explore yourself.
Yeah.
To find out what your boundaries are.
Well, and we grew up in different times, too.
Different times, yes.
You're much younger than me.
You had like a wagon train.
Fuck you. We
were not that far apart in age.
No, but it's still considerably different in the time that you grew up and the time I grew up. Because I grew up in the 70s into the 80s.
I grew up in the 80s.
Oh, late 60s.
Okay.
Late 60s, 70s, 80s.
Okay.
I got married first time when it was 86.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was just a child when you got married. Yeah.
So, and I started having babies after the first year. So.
Ugh. Well, I did that, but second husbands, that's fine. Well, you were a breeder, right out of the gate. Well, you had to.
I made a promise that I wouldn't have kids until after 1 year. We waited exactly a year to the day.
Before the child was born?
Before the child was conceived.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was 9 months after that.
Well,
but yeah, we waited a year.
Yeah.
So,
well, good.
Yeah. But and then it was 2 years after that for the second one. So
I like that second one.
Yeah.
I don't know the first one very well.
Yes, you do.
Which one was first?
My girl.
Oh, well then no, I like that first one. I don't know much about the second one. I don't know why I thought she was younger.
You'd like the second one too. He's awesome.
I'm sure I would like them both. I like you.
I know. Okay.
Anyway.
So
we were going to talk about love spells.
The witchcraft factor of it. We were going to talk about love spells.
Love spells. Let's talk about love spells because that's what everybody wants to talk about.
What are love spells?
Everybody wants to talk about love spells. Okay, so if you do any kind of reading for the community, or if you're a reader at all, you know 95.95% of your inquiries are going to be about fucking relationship stuff. And if you make spells and do spell work or potion work, people want that love spell. Why? Why are we so disconnected from understanding what love is? What do we need from a partner? What are we giving to a partner? We're completely. I think it's just the way that our society views relationship, because there's lots of limits on love, because this is not just. All of this stuff does not just apply to romantic relationships. Yeah. Any kind of relationship. Parental relationships. Relationships with co-workers. Yeah. Relationships with friends. I was going to say work relationships.
Yeah. Relationships with your boss. Relationships with friends, family, neighbors. I mean. Yeah. Yeah.
All of this stuff applies anytime there's a relationship with your spirit allies. All of this stuff. With your pets. Yeah. All of these things apply. And, yeah, and people just are baffled by it. And I think that's because of the way that, a relationship is considered romantic partner, single, one romantic partner. It has to look this way, and if it doesn't look like a Disney film, then it's wrong. That's right. That's not the way it works. That's not the way it works. But anyway, so yeah, you'll get a lot of inquiries for love spells, inquiries for readings about love and relationships, and it almost always comes back to the person. I'm going to say almost because I don't want to get any emails about this. The person has some work to do. If you're constantly how do I get this relationship to work? How do I get this person to love me? How do I do this and that? Right. The problem is not with them. The problem is with you. Why are you trying to attach yourself to somebody who doesn't seem interested? Why are you ignoring the signs that this relationship is going nowhere? Right. Why are you back here again asking me if this same partner is cheating on you? Go talk to them. Come on. If you have that little trust for your partner, then something else needs to happen. Yep. But that is the way it is. Or they're just... Do they love me? Do they, they're just frantically worried about it, and it's like there's no communication with the partner happening. So, love spells. Man, there's so many out there. I'm not going to give you any recipes today.
You can look them up.
But
Google's
they're
full
absolutely,
of them.
Well, and I encourage you to learn occult mechanics before you just do whatever love spell comes out of it. Especially if you're going to be ingesting or inhaling anything.
Right.
Whew. But yeah, there's all sorts of ways to sweeten a relationship, though, and to facilitate communication, and that is where it needs to start. Mm-hmm. If you're frantically worried about doing a love spell, start with yourself. Yeah. Start with, what do I want? What am I offering? Is that compatible? Am I communicating my needs? Am I listening? Because communication is two ways. Am I listening to their needs? Is that going to work out? Like, you're going to have to do the math of that. And if that person, if you're doing love magic for one specific person, like, that's the one I want. No. Stop. Do the spell, because I did a spell to get this husband.
But it wasn't specifically
I didn't even know him.
Yeah.
So it wasn't specifically related to him. It was, these are the qualities I want in a partner. Right. This is the kind of interactions I want to have. Mm-hmm. That's what I related my spell around. And then this motherfucker showed up, just checking everything off my list, and I was like, well, there he is.
There you go.
Now, if I could go back in time, I would just adjust a little few things on that list. But that is how I knew, because I was like, oh, okay, well, all right, and okay. And he came out of the clear-ass blue sky. Uh-huh. So, I mean, I get it. Like, there are times when that's necessary, but focus on your needs in a partner. Don't focus on a specific person, because that person may not be the best thing for you.
Right.
You know, just because they're beautiful. Mm-hmm. You know, just because they smell really good.
Or have lots of money.
Or have lots of money. Whatever it is that's drawing your focus, if it's not coming back, like, there's some kind of reason, and you don't want to override their consent either. There are spells out there that you can do that will get you exactly that person that you're interested in, but it just may not be the relationship that you really want it to be. Right. And most of the time, it's not. So, yeah. And
because reality is very rarely matched up with the fantasy of it. So
I get a lot of inquiries about, does this person even know I exist? Like, why won't they notice me? And I'm kind of like, are you putting yourself out there? Because you cannot rely on that person to come and pursue you. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, are you out pursuing people? No, there could be people fawning over you that you have no idea.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit selfish for you to expect them to carry all the load there. If you recognize that you like them, go fucking get them. What the hell?
Right.
People. It's scary. Look, I get that. I know that I different people have different personalities, and it can be scary.
Yeah.
But you're a witch.
Right.
Deal with your fear. Mm-hmm. You know? There's all kinds of ways that you can work on yourself.
Right.
You can work on your confidence. You can work on your charisma. Mm-hmm. Do the work.
Do the work.
To get what you want.
I think that's a lot of times, too, people ask about love magic or love spells. Mm-hmm. They are... I'm sorry, I'm probably going to get emails about this.
You're going to get emails.
They're sidestepping doing the work.
They're abdicating
they want
their
it
power,
like
too.
that. Yeah.
Yes.
And it's not going to work that way.
If you are willing to sidestep doing the work on the front end, then you're probably not willing to do the work of maintaining that relationship.
Right.
So that's telling as well.
It is.
The end.
The end.
That's all I have to say about that topic. What else you got?
That's it, pretty much.
I think we've been talking for a while.
And we have. But my last thing I want to say is, just like with anything else, be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it. And it may not be anything like what you were hoping for. So just be careful, y'all. That's all I'm saying.
Y'all
just
be careful out there.
Please.
Yeah, but that's a good learning experience, too, to ask yourself, why is it that I want this? I'm all about some. You know, you can put that in your journal.
Yeah, make a list of the qualities in a person that you want. I mean, that this is somebody you're going to spend the rest of your life with. That's the plan. And I mean, they need certain qualities. They need something that's going to match you. That's going to do the give and take.
And you got to give it time to manifest.
Oh,
that person may have to move from a different country to get here.
It's possible.
Give them some time.
Yeah.
Give them some time. Yep. And find things that you love. The more time you spend doing what you love, the more you're gonna
find people who love to do that.
But you're also gonna be in the flow of love. You're gonna be in that sort of Venusian magnetic place. You're gonna start drawing people together that they may not even be on your radar. So anyway.
And that's it. That's all I got.
That's a lot of stuff.
That was a lot of stuff.
Well, when are we getting together again? Soon.
Yeah.
What are we going to do? Some more Gifts of the Goddess? I think the next episode after this one is a fun interview with Jackie Smith. She did the Big Book of Candle Magic. Lots of great advice in there. Tons of great advice in there. Please read that book. It's good. And we've got her on the show not next week, but 2 weeks from now. Next episode.
All right, cool. Yay.
Yeah. All right.
All right, honey.
Well, everyone, thank you so much for listening to the show, and blessed be.
Bye, y'all.
Thank you all so much for listening, and don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe through your favorite podcast provider. It helps us get our podcast in front of more listeners just like you. If you'd like to get in touch with us, you can leave us a voicemail by clicking the link in the description of this episode, and you can always find us on Facebook and Instagram by searching for Crossroads and Cauldrons Podcast.